In case you missed it, the news wrote, new updates are happening in Tupac's murder case. Rappers in the industry from Snoop Dogg, Suge Knight, and Diddy are about to be arrested and questioned, where it's likely this interview from Snoop Dogg that made the feds begin to wonder his involvement in the crime.
You were with Tupac, though, in regards to Tupac. I heard a story, did you give him different advice that night on where to go?
I didn't give him no advice.
Right.
We wasn't seeing eye to eye.
Right.
So.
Saying during the Tyson.
Yeah, this incident that I'm explaining to you right now was the day before that.
Okay.
So when they got to Vegas, they went their way, I went back. I mean, when we got to LA, they went to Vegas and I went home. That's why I wasn't in the car.
Later on, Snoop Dogg would reveal that he was originally supposed to be in the BMW with Tupac on the night of the shooting. However, due to last-minute changes, he didn't end up going. These changes were likely the result of an altercation that had taken place just a day earlier between Snoop, Tupac, and Suge Knight. According to various reports, tensions had been rising among the death row artists, particularly after Snoop made public remarks about wanting peace between East and West Coast rappers, comments that reportedly didn't sit well with Tupac or Suge. This disagreement may have created distance between the trio, ultimately influencing Snoop's absence from the vehicle that night. In hindsight, that decision may have saved his life.
Last time me and Tupac was on the same page, and I did an interview with Angie Martinez, and she asked me how did I feel about Puffy and Biggie, and I told her that I like their music and I want to do music with them. Bro didn't like that, Tupac didn't like that, so we had a misunderstanding. So on the flight back to LA, I didn't feel comfortable around them for what they had did, as far as I didn't let my security ride with me. So to protect myself and to, prevent from happening, I slept under a blanket with the knife and the fork just in case something was to go wrong, but it didn't.
All of this took place within just 72 hours of Tupac's murder, raising suspicions among both fans and authorities. 2 decades ago, Snoop Dogg was deeply connected to the streets, and many have speculated that he might have received a tip-off that Tupac was going to be targeted that night, potentially explaining why he chose not to get into the BMW. Some believe this forewarning may have ultimately saved his life. Adding to the mystery, federal investigators later uncovered an old interview in which Snoop claimed that, just 2 days before Tupac's death, he felt Tupac harbored intense resentment toward him. The growing tension between the two, especially after Snoop's public comments advocating peace with East Coast artists, may have created a rift too deep to mend in time. To this day, questions remain about what Snoop knew, when he knew it, and whether he narrowly escaped a deadly setup that night in Las Vegas.
I say a week before he died, we was best of friends. 2 days before he died, I don't think he liked me.
Why?
Because we was in New York, and it happened. New York, they shot at me and did all kind of shit to me, like just the worst you could think of. And I forgave him. And went and did an interview and was asked, how do I feel about Puffy and Biggie? And I was like, I like them. I want to do some music with them. And that just rubbed Cuz the wrong way, like tried to kill me, out at you, and you talking about you want to do a song with it. I wasn't thinking about his emotions. I was thinking about the way I felt at the time. I wasn't into no controversy. I liked his music. They was our friends. We was all friends at one point. This video footage of all of us hanging out.
These revelations raised major red flags within the Las Vegas Police Department. At the same time, the internet exploded with theories and speculation as amateur investigators and hip-hop fans alike began digging into every detail. One viral thread in particular reignited interest in an old claim that Snoop Dogg had received word that Tupac was allegedly working as a federal informant. Let me explain. According to an interview with a former law enforcement officer, Tupac was believed by some to be an industry plant, strategically placed to ease tensions between rival gang-affiliated groups, specifically the Bloods and the Crips. The officer suggested that Tupac's sudden rise and deep involvement with both sides of the street scene weren't coincidental, but rather part of a broader attempt to calm the escalating violence. While this theory remains highly controversial and largely unproven, it added fuel to the ongoing speculation about Tupac's true role in the industry, and whether Snoop's decision to distance himself was based on more than just personal conflict.
Well, it turns out when I talked to Tupac's longtime mentor, political mentor, former Black Panther Chokwe Lumumba, who was his first business manager, he's told me, I basically asked, well, was Tupac only pretending to be in order to appeal to gangs and politicize them? And he said yes. And that was part of his thug life agenda they came up with his imprisoned stepfather, Tupac Shakur. And so Tupac was just using that in order to get the and the leaders to call peace truces, first in Los Angeles, then throughout California, and then throughout the country. And that was why he was pretending to be this type. And really, he was just an intellectual prodigy.
Clearly, if there had ever been a plan to use Tupac as a bridge between rival gangs, it failed. And tragically so. His sudden and violent death shocked the world, but in hindsight, it adds context to why Snoop Dogg may have deliberately distanced himself from Tupac in Las Vegas that night. If Snoop had indeed received word that Tupac was working with federal authorities, or even just suspected it, it would explain his decision to avoid the situation entirely. While one branch of law enforcement continued to investigate Tupac's murder, another bizarre theory began gaining traction: that Tupac was still alive. This conspiracy took on new life when parts of an alleged police evidence file leaked online. At the center of it was a 2010 interview with a rapper named Trey, a lesser-known artist who was reportedly very close to Tupac during the early days of his career. The two were said to have collaborated on an unreleased album and shared a deep friendship. But things took an unexpected turn after the interview ended, or so everyone thought. The cameraman apparently forgot to turn the camera off and left it recording while placing it on the floor. In the unintentional footage, you can hear the interviewer continuing the conversation off the record, asking Trey about Tupac. That's when Trey casually responds, "Last time I saw him, he was in Cuba." This single statement reignited long-standing rumors that Tupac had faked his death and fled the country, adding yet another strange twist to an already complex and mysterious story.
Well, if you ain't ready for it, get on the sidewalk.
One last question.
Nobody knows. Y'all good?
Yeah, we good. Thanks a lot, man.
We good. Last time I saw him, he was in church.
Then only 1 week later, a video would be leaked onto a news website showing a video of Tupac supposedly chilling in a parking lot inside of Cuba.
Zoom in. That's Pac, man. He with the outlaw. And Reg from Holla Back is trying to be friendly and get autographs. Holla Back is...
In the leaked Cuban footage, a man who looked strikingly like Tupac can be seen interacting with fans, one of whom excitedly shouts, "Zol, man, he outlaw. Holla back." Trying to be friendly and get an autograph. Holla back exclusive, baby. The video went viral, and many believed it was undeniable proof that Tupac had not only survived but was living a quiet life in exile. The speculation became so widespread that even Suge Knight, the man who was in the car with Tupac the night of the shooting, eventually addressed it. Over the past 2 decades, Suge has made numerous cryptic comments suggesting Tupac may still be alive. In one particularly revealing interview, he spoke about Tupac's condition in the hospital after the shooting. Suge said, and I quote, "I mean, when I left that hospital, me and Tupac were laughing and joking. I don't see how someone can go from doing well to doing bad just like that." The implication was clear. Suge didn't fully buy the official story of Tupac's death. Coming from someone so close to the incident, his words only added fuel to a fire that refuses to burn out, even decades later.
He was conscious on the way to the hospital.
He was conscious on the way to the hospital. He was conscious in the ambulance. He was conscious after they did the surgery.
What was the last thing that he said to you?
Knight and their entourage went to the Mike Tyson at the MGM Grand. Keefe D and his nephew, Orlando Lane Anderson, and 2 of their friends were also there. Keefe D told LAPD Detective Greg Kading more than a decade ago, in a proffer that couldn't be used against him, the shooting was retaliation after Tupac jumped Orlando and up at the casino. Surveillance cameras recorded the fight. Tupac was angry that Lane had stolen his necklace years prior in Compton. Tupac, Suge Knight, and the entourage left the casino quickly.
Knew about Tupac's concert at the Club 662. Members, including Orlando and Keefe D, jumped in their white Cadillac and started cruising the strip looking for the offender. Before long, they finally spotted Tupac's caravan. At the intersection of East Flamingo Boulevard and Koval Lane, the white Cadillac pulled alongside the black BMW with Suge on the driver and Tupac on the passenger seats. The back window of the Cadillac rolled twice in the chest, once in the arm, once in the thigh.
And Bubble Up was the driver, and Baby Lane and Freaky were in the back seat.
We was just all in the car together. Just say that.
This was the white Cadillac.
Yeah.
So you guys are driving around, And then you hear these girls say, Tupac, Tupac.
Got to the light. He was gonna go drink. And he happened to be hanging out the window. He's hanging out the window like he was in a parade.
Tupac?
Yeah, he was.
So what happens next? You said that as you're driving up towards the BMW, with Suge driving and Tupac in the passenger seat. You said that as you're driving up towards the BMW, with Suge driving and Tupac in the passenger seat, and you said that Tupac pulled out
It looked like he was reaching, yeah. Yeah, it did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you actually?
No, once he got the reaching, I got the ducking.
So someone from your car
started
at Tupac and Suge.
Tupac already knew something was gonna go down. That's why he was getting ready, but sadly he wasn't fast enough. But later on, Keefe D would then release his own police interrogation on the night of the crime. It's never been before seen, but he released it to confirm that he was actually there.
Lane starts. You say Suge looks over, he sees you. He looks right at you.
Yeah, he looks at me.
Okay. When he looks over at you, and then Tupac's busy getting. Evidently, the story is Tupac's trying to either get out of the line.
back seat or something.
Yeah. What do you see happening inside of their car?
I seen him going Suge head. I thought he was.
So Orlando crossed Dre.
He leaned over on the window. We rolled down the window.
Yeah, I hate that happened, dog. I really do, man. Cause it took a lot of people's lives, dude. Hate that happened. Promise to God. I feel that was wrong, man. It was just wrong, purely wrong. You know what I'm saying? I wish it had never happened. You know what I'm saying? That's my opinion. Wish it never happened.
In the leaked Cuban footage, a man who looked strikingly like Tupac can be seen interacting with fans, one of whom excitedly shouts, "Zol, man, he outlaw. Holla back." Trying to be friendly and get an autograph. Holla back exclusive, baby. The video went viral, and many believed it was undeniable proof that Tupac had not only survived but was living a quiet life in exile. The speculation became so widespread that even Suge Knight, the man who was in the car with Tupac the night of the shooting, eventually addressed it. Over the past 2 decades, Suge has made numerous cryptic comments suggesting Tupac may still be alive. In one particularly revealing interview, he spoke about Tupac's condition in the hospital after the shooting. Suge said, and I quote, "I mean, when I left that hospital, me and Tupac were laughing and joking. I don't see how someone can go from doing well to doing bad just like that." The implication was clear. Suge didn't fully buy the official story of Tupac's death. Coming from someone so close to the incident, his words only added fuel to a fire that refuses to burn out, even decades later.